I hope you're ready to hear about the wild ride that was April. April, I feel like I blinked and I look up and it was 18 books later. Several of them are 5 stars. I rate my books on a 300 bowling scale. I am going to be discussing the books from lowest to highest score, and we'll be talking about my highest rated and favorite books at the very end. Are they the same? I don't know. You're just going to have to wait and see. So I want to start off and I want to just rip the band-aid. Rip the band-aid with me here. Let's talk about the ones that didn't hit. Coming in at a 162 is No Harm Intended, written by Michael J. McLaughlin. I picked it up because I thought it sounded great. It was about an Amazonian cruise, a little jungle tour gone wrong, and your ship gets taken over by pirates, and how do you survive? Here's what I was hoping from this book. It was giving the location what should have been essentially a character. It should have been a challenge. It should have been an adversary. There should have been wildlife threats that threatened the well-being of these people, and there wasn't. Oh, we're on a river. Here are pirates. Let's talk about this village, and then things go south. I feel as though the concept there's so much potential with the concept, but the execution fell short. So much so that I found myself reading the back and the acknowledgement. And I got a little history on the fact that the author had recently gone on an Amazonian like river cruise. And that's what sparked the interest or the idea. And while they were there, it turns out one of a cruise had been taken over, and they were like, oh, what if it was me? So he gave us this like hypothetical situation. I feel like there was opportunity for more research. These people are trudging through the jungle, having to stay potentially overnight in the jungle, in the wild, with no supplies. That jungle is lethal. There are critters, creatures, animals, wildlife, whatever we're calling them, that are threats. And that was not utilized to the best of its ability, and that was very disappointing. 162, lowest score. The next book, I am honestly extremely surprised because every other book in the series had been a 5 star, rated over 250. All of them were hitters. I fear the Ruthless Boy series has lost the plot. Broken Fae really didn't do it for me, came in at a 170. I'm going to continue with the last book in the series because at this point I need to, and I want to continue on with the Zodiac Academy, but I was not happy with this book. Next, I have another Ned Galley. This one was an audiobook called The Fourth Wife by Linda Hamilton. The premise followed a young Mormon girl, grew up in the faith of polygamy where they practiced plural wives. And her and another young man in the community were growing up. Apparently they had a secret love relationship, and he was like the son of the leader, and that kind of just pissed them off. So they're like, we have to separate it. Personally, I feel like in an effort to punish her, they then assigned this girl who should have never been a man's fourth wife as somebody's fourth wife. The man was nothing of what he was being sold to be, but then even the home oh, he's got a really nice home, he's got other wives. And there was just an underlying haunting that occurred. So, like, it wasn't horrible. It was entertaining. I don't know if the ending stuck the landing for me. Next of the lows is The Dreadfuls. And this is by A. Ray Dunlap. Again, this was another arc that I got from NetGalley. This was supposed to be kind of like a Jack the Ripper piggyback of it. Followed a young girl who ends up going to like a behavioral school during the time of Jack the Ripper. It was a little too juvenile for the subject matter. That's really all I got to say. It had a 174. We're getting a little bit better. This next book was one of my most anticipated reads of the month. It did not live up. I read Twisted Pawn by L.J. Shin, which is the second book in the Society of Villains. The first book is Bad Bishop. I feel like I don't talk enough about Bad Bishop, but that was dark romance, dark mafia romance done right. Tiernan is Zaddy, and anytime I get to say that, listen to me. I don't even want to talk about the book that I did read because it was so disappointing. Basically had to force myself to finish this book. Nothing compared to the love in the first or the tension. To be honest with you, this is literally probably the example of the most toxic relationship that I've ever seen. I always struggle when the relationship is so toxic, can you even root for it? Like, at a certain point, you're like, let it go. Let it go, baby girl. He's done so much. You've done so much. You've hurt each other so much. There's no coming back from that, realistically, unless like you're toxic and you're gonna hate love each other. And I'm not here for that either. I'm not sure what that trope is called, but I don't think I like it. because this isn't even enemies to lovers. You were lovers, she betrays you, so you're hurt. You pretend to hate her, but you really love her. And here we are. You guys going back and forth, and you think that we're rooting for a happy ending at the end of the book? Like, let it go, baby, let it go. There's got to be somebody else that doesn't have all the trauma rooted in this, but maybe that's just me. I mean, like, therapy, I highly suggest it. Yeah, Tierney and Achilles, their story, it didn't really do it for me. I really thought this was going to be my favorite series. I know she's got 2 more scheduled to release. I don't know if I'll be continuing after the showing that happened in book 2. This is a split. I don't even know if I would rec this to be. It disappointed. Like, just read Bad Bishop again. If you're looking for the vibe from Bad Bishop, just read Bad Bishop again. Is where I'm saying is because this wasn't it. This wasn't it. All right, let me give it a break. You guys are probably really going to wonder what's wrong with me, and part of me wonders as well, but it took me almost 2 months to finish this book, it feels like. It took me forever to read Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, the second book in the Red Rising trilogy. It's the first trilogy. So here's the thing. When I finished Red Rising, I really was not like, oh my gosh, this series lives up to all of the hype that everybody gives it. Let's let them cook a little bit because the internet cannot all be wrong. I think that this book was extremely masculine, and they're not super thick either, so you'd think it's not that hard. And I have tried to read this book a couple of ways, and I don't think I like the audiobook, is what I've discovered with Golden Sun. What I'm going to do for Morningstar is just read it with my eyeballs with the physical book and let it try and take me away, because that one seems to really invoke a lot of emotion for people, and I struggle to care. It all gets better from here. So if you've hung with me, I do appreciate it. The rest of these are all pushing over 200. They are starting to cook. Now, remember, I read 18 books. Only 6 of them were below 200. And if you ask me, that's pretty good. We're about to get into some math. Good Girl, Bad Blood. Good Girl, Bad Blood, second book in The Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I really liked the first one. This one came in at a 201. It was the second book in the series. She did a whole lot of her same things. She's sleuthing to find her best friend's brother who mysteriously disappears. We think some foul play occurred. She does her whole podcast thing, but people have their panties in a bunch because, at what point is too much? Are you sticking your nose where it doesn't belong? Etc., etc. Blah, 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 blah. So, mid 201, solid, nothing to really write home about. So, I'm going to keep it pushing. I went deep in the dungeons and I read 5 of the 7 Dungeon Crawler Carl books. I know the 8th one comes out in just a few days. Yes, I will be diving in. Yes, it is a slippery slope. Yes, I'm going to give you these ratings with these books out of order, but just know that I read a lot of Carl and I liked a lot of Carl. Mind you, note that they're all above 200. Now, this may surprise some of you, but not me, because I even tried to go back and be like, was I being hard on this book? And the answer is no. I wasn't being hard on this book. I just really didn't love it. You know what I did love? I loved the cover. This hands down has the best cover. Hands down. Cats do not swim. We love it. Gets bonus points for aesthetic. But this beauty, this is book number 4, The Gate of the Pharaoh Gods by Matt Dinneman. This one came in at a 231. Why was this my least favorite? This is my least favorite because it was coming off of, it forced them into separation and isolation. It got a little chaotic. Regrettably, it's the introduction of Samantha, and I think Samantha may be my least favorite character. Sorry to say it, but I can only have one crazy loud person yelling at me, and that space is reserved for Donut. So the entrance of Samantha is just wild. Still a solid book. It's a high 4-star if we're converting the 231. I'm going to leave that there and not harp on it. The next up, I am still very slowly going on this journey with Sarah J. Maas and the Throne of Glass. I'm going to need you guys to be so gentle with me right now because, just kidding, this one's not even next. The next one we have is the 3rd book in the Curve series by Miss Danielle Allen, and that's Big Girl Blitz. Big Girl Blitz came out earlier this month and follows Jasmine's story. This one was a little bit longer than I needed, but it was a nice culminating event. I made sure to read the other 2 books in the series, which I think actually increased my enjoyment of this book, because you really know the characters, you know her other friends, and you get it. You understand where they're going and where they went. I definitely recommend reading this one, 234, and I'm really struggling to finish the series. I did read 2 books in the series, and they were rated back to back. Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, which, I mean, like, I'm not going to complain. I'm not complaining. They weren't bad books. Heir of Fire was definitely the reset for where the story was going. New characters were introduced. It was kind of starting anew. And that's not a negative thing. I'm still very much here for it. But Queen of Shadows was kind of like, I'm back. Here's what we're doing. Look alive. And the energy was mildly different. And that is also okay. These were good, but not great. They came in at 239 for Heir of Fire and 240 for Queen of Shadows. So good books, solid books. I'm not obsessed. I'm not obsessed. I'm not compelled to pick up the next book and really see it through. I have also been doing immersive reading. I think audiobook has been doing the heavy lifting for me. I might also need to just sit down with the next one and read it with my eyeballs and just slow it down. But now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Top 7 books of the month. Again, we read 18. We've got another Dungeon Crawler Carl. This is the second lowest one, but this is the second to last one that's out. And The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. This almost surprised me that's a little bit low. I might need to reflect on this a little bit, but I did thoroughly enjoy this one. It was unhinged. The ending was absolutely crazy. I don't really have any bad things to say. Moving right on along, we had the second book in the Curve series by Danielle Allen. That's Plus Size Player. Absolutely love this book. My favorite in the series. Came in at a whopping 243. She, Nina, the lead character in this one, and Russ, they are top tier. They are couple goals. Nina, plus size content creator in the fashion space, is that girl. Highly recommend. Definitely go pick it up. Read all the series in order. It's a must. Next, of course, we know Dungeon Crawler Carl's going, and clearly a lot of them are in the top 5. So we'll see which book I actually ranked the highest. I don't know if it aligns with you. I don't know if everybody else agrees. There's a lot of things out there. We can talk about it in the comments. Let me know if you absolutely disagree. But next, I have The Butcher's Masquerade. Butcher's Masquerade came in at a 245. I really liked this book. It was a whole lot of fun. However, I thought that there was opportunities with something that they talked about for several floors in anticipation of it being a huge deal only for, Carl to kind of do his Carl thing, and it almost like they fizzed out super early. And I just think that they should have done more with that aspect in the book. Switching it up, my dark romance, what am I calling this? My paranormal dark romance. I read Pen Pal. Super random pickup. Pen Pal by JT Gessinger got a whopping 253. It had really good pacing. The twist was good, even though it was kind of you could see it coming, but the way it was written still wasn't exactly how you saw it. So it was still very satisfying. You're still super engaged and invested. It was great. No notes. All right, we're getting to the end. We got the top 3 books. Do you know which one's going to be number 1? Can you remember? Spoiler alert, my favorite book of the month is actually the first book I read this month. So, interesting enough. Next, coming in for third spot this month at a 254 is Carl's Doomsday Scenario. This was the second book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. This is the book that made me a believer. This is the book that made me a fan of Donut. This is also the book that made me a fan of Mordecai. So, definitely, if you get to Carl 1, just Dungeon Crawler Carl, and you're not sure, just keep going. Number two, rated, aka my favorite book of the series so far, we've got the Anarchist Cookbook. The Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook. I loved this book. Rated it a 268. They switched it up. The level format was great. The crawler camaraderie worked together plot, the peeling back the layers of the politics and learning even more about the function. It was just so satisfying. Getting your leaderboard, everything about this book I felt was really done right and set me up to go be disappointed by the next book because Gate of the Frail Gods was after this. So I was riding high and then I went low. The favorite book of the month is Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary was so good. Came in at a 282. I was coming off the high of seeing the movie and I thought the movie was exceptional. 10 of 10. I had no notes. And when the movie is that good, it's, usually one is better. And I think that the book might have been better only because it gave me more. I think that the movie played down so many things about Ryland, and we got so many less things about Rocky. And this book was no joke. I loved every second of it. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it or haven't read it, to read it. If you're debating if you want to watch the movie, I would actually recommend seeing the movie before reading the book, because this book intimidated me initially because of all the science, and I knew it was a sciencey based book. And And so seeing the movie gave me a nice foundation of like what to expect. So when I saw and heard all the sciencey things, I could already piece it together. It was really good. Project Hail Mary was my favorite book, highest ranked book of the month, again at a 282. 18 books, y'all. We'll see what we get into for May. For May, I think I just want to switch it up. I want to make sure I'm reading things that I'm enjoying. I still have Brandon Sanderson looming over me, so that is something that I know I'm going to be diving into soon. Um, I have an update coming from my favorite author because definitely the reads that happened this month and last month have impacted that. So if you want to know how that continues, definitely feel free to subscribe. If you want more in-depth reviews like this, please also maybe the time to subscribe. And if you made it this far into the video, can you drop a stack of books or let me know what was your favorite read of the month? Let's discuss it so that I can add it to my list of reads if I haven't already read it already. You know, just doing my best, trying to keep my mind in the books and out of the gutters.